Spotify has an estimated 4.7 million podcasts, but they come in second place to YouTube as the most popular podcast platform. So what is it about podcasts and their popularity on YouTube, and how did we even get here in the first place?
The explanation as to why there are so many podcasts today are because, well, creators are incentivized today more than ever to create this type of content, and the platforms themselves are actually benefiting off of it the most. I would go as far as to say, for YouTube specifically, a podcast is the most preferred type of video that you could film.
I did a podcast one time with Colin and Samir, which they averaged a couple 100,000 views a video, but that podcast got 12 million views because on average, people listen to that podcast for 45 minutes. And It was only an hour and 20 podcast. So because YouTube could see people were watching it for so long, that's a great indicator that they loved it.
YouTube creators work for themselves, and majority of the time, their revenue comes from advertisements. To be specific, Google AdSense. Once a creator is eligible to monetize videos on their channel, YouTube's partner program will allow this creator to start taking advertisements from major companies and putting them on their videos in order to monetize and grow their channel. The creator will then be paid according to their engagement and basically how much attention they bring to the advertisement itself. So that's another fun word that we hear about all the time, right? Engagement. What the hell does engagement mean? So engagement metrics encompass everything that has to do with a viewer interacting with a video. Everything from the initial click, likes, shares, watch time, how much time was spent interacting with the video in any possible way. All of that falls under the umbrella of engagement. So to explain why podcasting is such a lucrative format, it's because of watch time. Now, if a video has high watch time, that means that the viewer spent more time engaging with the video, which also means they probably ran across more advertisements. More ads played means more money for the company, more money for YouTube, and more money for the creator. So the longer the video, the longer you can keep someone on the screen, the better it is for everybody. I just want to emphasize, by the way, no matter what kind of videos you make, this concept of watch time still stands true. As long as someone engages with your video for a long enough duration of time, you are going to get paid the same. It does not matter what substance is in the video, what exactly it is you talked about. When you look at YouTube as a bare bones algorithm, all that matters is how many ads were played and how much they engaged with your channel. Because ultimately, the goal is to keep you on this website for as long as possible. Now, I want to be clear on something. Just because you can start a podcast or it's the strategic thing to do, doesn't mean that you actually should do it. For a lot of creators like myself, you aspire to turn this into a full-time thing. And so you have this huge spark of creativity in the beginning, but you also are trying to figure out the magic formula of how to create a viral video, and you're trying to teeter-totter between being as artistic and as experimental as you can be, but also trying your best to understand what is a viral and successful video on the platform, and you're trying to fit your creativity into this box, into the confines of what a successful video on YouTube is according to the algorithm. It's a pretty twisted thing when you think about it, because creativity should not be this thing with limits and worrying about a freaking computer judging you, but that's just what the YouTube game is, unfortunately. And so even when you look at some of my earliest uploads, right, I started out with this podcast format. I was interviewing a couple of my friends and colleagues, and the idea there was just I could film and edit those videos in the same day. It was so damn easy. I mean, it was the most logistically sound process there was, and it was something I genuinely enjoyed doing. These are people I talk to outside of work, outside of filming videos. And if I scale that and it happens to work, the advertisements are going to be watched all the time. This is going to be amazing. Another thing in general about posting, whether it's a podcast or just creating videos in general, is being consistent. And just because a podcast is a very simple format doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it any easier to post compared to any other type of video. However, I will say that podcasts have one advantage compared to any other type of video, because by filming a podcast, you're actually uploading more than one video at once. So content repurposing refers to taking a long video and then reformatting it, repurposing it so that it can be its own piece of original content. It's also a strategy which allows streamers to re-upload their content from their streams onto YouTube and be wildly successful. And that's because they're uploading videos multiple times a day. I made a video about Shannon Sharp and how he does this with his podcast. If he did a 3-hour podcast, you're going to see 40 different YouTube videos from that 3-hour podcast. Everything from shorts, clips, the full episode, slightly longer clips, every possible variation you could get from one piece of long form content, he's going to repurpose it. But basically, it's cheating because it's the same video. And he just uploaded a bunch of times. And I'm not going to sit here and complain about it, because if I ever start a podcast again, or if I ever go down that route of whether it's live streaming or something I can repost, best believe I'm going to do it. And that's another beautiful thing about it, is that as a creator, it gives you so much insight on what parts of your personality, what parts of your videos the audience engages with the most. If you're uploading across Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok, you can test out all the variables possible. If it's the same video, you can change the title, you can add one little edit in one upload that you're not going to add in the other, and it's just like a big old science experiment. So with all of that being said, why doesn't everyone start a podcast? I mean, I started one for like 2 episodes. I'm sure I'll end up going back and trying a similar format. And there's thousands of creators who start off their channels with a podcast. Why doesn't everyone do it? Why isn't that just the medium for everybody? And it's a pretty simple answer to the question. People just don't want to. And that's one thing I've realized while making this video, and just in general as I've created videos on this channel. Not everything has to be a strategic play. Regardless of if podcasts are booming or if the creator industry is booming, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to make videos or a certain type of video. YouTube is inherently a creative endeavor. It was built by creators, or really just teenagers in their rooms ranting about society, different issues they had, making skits, cracking jokes. They were looking to pour a part of themselves onto this website and to contribute and add something to YouTube. And reflecting back on that, it's a very far away and distant reality from what YouTube is now. This industrialized machine where more people are looking to take and to benefit off of this platform. I mean, even referring to it as the YouTube game like it's some sort of business opportunity just shows how much the platform has grown. And honestly, I think overall this is a good thing, because we're seeing YouTube develop on its own as an entire industry. And similar to YouTube, I myself will continue to grow and evolve as a creator. So hit that subscribe button if y'all want to see more videos about the creator economy, as well as the business of what it is to be a creator. That's my video today. I hope to see y'all in the next one. Take care.